What did the weird guy do? Was he a pornographer? But like a strange one in New York City?
Yes, back in the last YouTube
like, but he wasn't an awful person. Let me turn the light on.
He was Gilles.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you want it off? Okay. But you don't want to tell?
Gilles.
Gilles?
Gilles.
He
was French.
Oh, okay. He was French.
And he was about, I don't know, somewhere between 70 and 170 years old. This guy looked like he just got out of the crypt. And anyway, so he said, I went to see your basement. We took him down.
He was old, but not...
Between 70 and 186.
Not, you're joking.
He looked like he got out of the crypt. His skin was all... He looked like, straight out of...
Maybe he was just late 70s and you were a kid and you thought...
He looked like he got out of the crypt, that's for sure. He was very dusty. And he only came to us at night.
Sounds like a horror. Like a horror movie. He only came to you at night?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is terrifying.
And he was dressed in like 19th century waistcoat and a top hat. And his name was Gilles. And he wanted to rent the basement.
Gilles?
Gilles. And so we took him down there, and there was a separate entrance to the basement. Meaning he didn't have to come through our space.
I keep looking. I don't know what's behind me.
Could be Gilles. So
would he be dead? He'd be dead now, right? Was this the 60s?
He was 160 when I knew him, so he could probably be 220 now.
No, he was like in his 70s, probably late 70s to 90s.
He looked like he came out of the crypt. 80s? He looked 90s? Like he came out of the crypt.
Wow.
Really.
What year? Really?
Yeah, that was 19...
I'll just let you talk.
74. Okay. 74, 75. Anyway, so... we rent him, and he goes, how much do you want? And Bill and I kind of look at each other. He goes, I'll give you $1,000 for the basement. We weren't using the basement. And there was half the basement we could use because there was a big brick wall there. So there was an entrance from the street into the part of the basement he wanted, and it was these catacomb type of spaces. Everything was brick, and the roofs with this, this back in the day when guys knew how to do this, the ceilings were these, like...
was he a vampire?
Well, you think about it. We only saw him at night, and but anyway, so...
how would you spell his name?
I'm not a good speller.
Gilles?
Gilles.
Gilles sounds like a Muslim.
He was French.
I'm Italian, so when I do a voice like that, it's like, I don't know what it sounds
French.
like.
He was French. He wasn't Muslim. He was French.
Yeah.
He wore a lot of crosses. And these silk shirts and his black waistcoat with tails and a top hat. And he had a cane.
He had a cane?
Yeah. And he paid us $1,000 a month.
He had a top hat?
Yes.
Sounds like a vampire.
Yeah, it could have been. Could have been. But anyway, so he moves down there. And then once he gets down there, lots of people come. Lots of people and equipment go down that, and we're like looking out the window at and then all of a sudden we start hearing whips and people crying, going, Gilles, hit me harder, harder. And it just got weirder from that point on. And then I think I told you the story about when our release went from like $400 or $500 a month to like 12,000, because some rich guys bought a place and wanted us out, and so they had no idea what we were doing, and that what made their building so groovy was what we had been doing for the last 5 years. Anyway, so that building had been wired like back in the day, and so they moved in up there and they plugged all kinds of stuff into it, and they had an electric fire. So they came down to me and said, we need you to fix it. So I went and said, listen guys, you need this whole building rewired. And I showed them the basement. It was like from year 1.
1901?
Year 1. And so I said, I will do it in trade. You let us stay here 10 years. We'll give you $1,000 because Gilles was paying us $1,000. $1,000 a month, and then we're gone after 10 years.
What year was that?
That was probably, Una was born, so that was probably 75.
Who's Una?
Phil and Jane's first daughter. Una, Una Bear, the first bear, Una.
75.
Yep, she was born in 75. Anyway.
When you met David Bowie around. Was that before or after?
No, it could have been a year before, not after. It could have been a year. Anyway.
Something like that. Okay.
So I'm rewiring this building. So I'm putting in a whole new service, like 200 amps, 2 or 3 200 amp risers per floor. There were 5 floors. So I was bringing a good 2,000 new amps from the Edison Street, right? So, I filed the job. I had the Edison guy there, the engineers, everybody. We laid it all out. I put in the meter blocks. I put in the Edison box. I did the whole thing. And I had the risers in. So it came time for the inspectors, the Edison inspector and the city inspector, to come. So they came, and I brought them downstairs. And when I brought them downstairs, someone had clamped onto the Edison bus coming in from the street before the meter. So that's totally illegal. And they were Ticos. When Ticos are these big, they look like big jumper cables for your car, but they use them in the movie and theater industry. It's like lots of power, and usually in a temporary way. So these guys, so there were these cables coming off the Edison box, and I'm trying to go, I didn't do this, you know me, I didn't do this. And I turned around, and both inspectors were gone. And I turned around, and I went down the catacombs, and there was this big column of light coming from a doorway. And I go in there, and there's Gilles shooting a porno movie with porno actors. And the inspectors had gone in there and started to raise hell about how these guys were stealing electricity. And Gilles offered them, you know what a fluffer is?
Yeah, but a girl or a guy?
Well, fluffers come in both genders. Basically, in porno movies...
Which ones were these?
These were girls. And they were
They get the person excited. Try not to curse or say anything too. It's going on YouTube.
Well, I didn't curse.
Yeah.
So they had they were fluffing the inspectors.
Wow.
And so the inspectors let it pass because I said, they won't do this anymore. I'll get them a meter and they'll pay for their electricity.
He was a porn director.
Yeah, Gilles was a porn director.
But of strange porn, right?
Yeah,
bad strange, maybe.
Well, who knows? I wasn't watching it.
Wow, that's the attitude you took with it. And it was like really the weirdest thing ever, maybe.
Well, it could have been. I didn't really poke my head into it. And a couple of times, when I put in the electric service, Gilles was saying, I need an electrician, and you could have sex all the time and whatever you want, and you could be a star. You could be a star. I said, I don't think so, Gilles. Because I was getting enough. I didn't need to be fluffed. So, but that was Gilles. That was the basement. That's the story of Gilles.
Was there anything... Did you ever see any of his porn things that were weird? Like, did they do things with feces or whatever?
I did not really take any interest in any of that. But he would just, stick an envelope with the rent in our mailbox.
Did he stay up all late hours of the night?
Oh, kind of, yeah. The rattling of the chains and the whips and the cries, yeah.
And it was like the catacombs of an old building in New York City in the basement?
You got it.
What are the catacombs of it?
Oh, that comes from the French. Back in the day, underneath.
But did it go under the building to some other place?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, what a nightmare.
No, it was interesting architecture.
But it was something that you rented, but were there any secret hideaways?
Well, it was quite large down there. It took up that part of the block, so yeah.
I had a dream about this. He was working as a porn director with those young...
He porn business, He was the top dog, owned it, directed it.
Gosh, what was his company called?
I have no idea. All I knew was Gilles was doing strange things down there.
Gilles, how does it spelled?
I have no idea.
G-I-L something?
Yeah, however you spell Gilles.
Like, is it the same as Ben Affleck's flop of a movie? Was it named after him?
No.
Jiggly?
No.
Jilly?
No.
Gilles?
Gilles.
Gilles, Ben Affleck's terrible movie.
But what he wanted was no one to bother him. And that was what he got. He had his own entrance. We had nothing really to do with him. We never saw him. He stuck his rent in
it's running out of space. I gotta go.
Okay, gotta go.
I don't even know if it's still filming. Bye. Subscribe to the videos. Bye.